Good afternoon. My name's Eddie Harford. Thank you for attending this webinar. We're just going to wait a couple of more minutes, just waiting for a few more people to join us, and then we'll begin. Okay, so I think we've got most of the people we're expecting, so we're going to start off. So thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I know how busy everybody is, especially at the moment. But today we want to talk to you about what is Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, and just talk to you about what it can do for you, how it can help an organisation such as yourselves, and then obviously show you about the ways it can be expanded upon moving forward as well. So my name's Eddie Harford. I'm the CEO of the Dogma Group. I've been working with Microsoft ERP solutions for over 15 years. So I've got a good in-depth knowledge of what's good in the marketplace, what's relevant. And those of you who dealt with us before, we're not just a single product company. We actually offer multiple products and the ability to do comparisons. So we have a good understanding of the marketplaces across ERP, CRM. We also have the ability to understand what works well and what doesn't work well. So if there's any questions about this product, its scalability or extensibility, feel free to ask questions. We're more than happy to answer. And also comparing to other products in the industry, we do that as well. So today we're going to talk about a bit of an introduction to who we are as an organisation, what we do, how we work. We're talking about Business Central, what it does, how it's positioned, how it can help people, what type of people it supports best. Then we're going to go into a bit of a demonstration. Then we're going to talk about some add-on solutions in terms of being able to expand the usage of the product. And then we're going to go into a bit of a Q&A process at the end of the process. So for those of you who don't know who we are as an organisation, we are the Dogma Group. And in terms of the Dogma Group, our aim is to provide and to act as a trusted advisor for all of our clients. As part of the group, we have the four main elements, which is the consultancy C-Logic side, which provides a series of consultancy guidance, business management consultancy around sort of core product names such as HR, CRM, ERP, and really around the productivity. So one of the key challenges we see a lot of organizations having is being able to pay for something and use something, but actually get proper value of what that something is. So as an example, within the Dynamics stack, a lot of people have different licenses and they have a load of capability, but it's actually maximizing that return on investment is often one of the biggest challenges a lot of companies face. That's where we try to provide consultancy and advice, not just from day one, but an ongoing thing to make sure people get the most of what they are paying and invested into. It's part of the Serious App company, which is we'll talk about later on as well. This is a company that provides some marketing digital services, also is an app development company, and also provides capability for websites, portals, and also mobile solutions as well. So quite often when we work with an organisation, we may start off from the consultancy side, and as we're developing products and solutions and supporting customers on their digital transformation, at different points of the journey, they'll have different requirements in terms of being able to provide mobile apps or websites or portals, and we're able to support that full journey as well, right from the start, right going forwards. And then obviously as you develop and mature as an organisation in terms of your capacity, as you collect more and more data using the platform, then it's really coming important is the dynamic AI side of our business, the team of data scientists, which are essentially able you to support to make the most of that data, reporting, analytics, that artificial intelligence, building machine learning algorithms which can support things like product recommendations, churn analytics in terms of when customers are going to leave you, marketing intelligence, and really just taking data and start to automate processes, working across one or multiple systems to give you streamlined processes and efficiencies across your organization. And all of this capabilities is underpinned by our C-Logic International, which is a 24/7 support team and managed services team, which provides guidance and support across all the companies to make sure we have a consistent approach to how we build, deliver technology across all parts of the organization and are able to support it from day one onwards as well. So now we're going to talk about Business Central, which is why we're all here today. So first of all, what is Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central? It's part of the Dynamics 365 ecosystem. So you may or may not be familiar with, we talked about the concept of Microsoft Dynamics building this centralized view in the cloud. It's a completely secure ecosystem. So it's all the GDPR compliance, the backup, the data resilience, data recovery capabilities, all within the same solution, all provided out of the box natively. And enables you to have a finance solution which is both modern, it's unified in terms of the approach, in terms of the look and feel. It has built-in intelligence, and it's also adaptable depending on different types of industries and different types of businesses to cover most scenarios. So as you can see from here, we have the financial management capabilities, which are what you would expect any sort of finance system to do. It also extends that to provide capabilities around project management. So these could be manufacturing jobs, these could be assembly jobs, these could be projects in terms of professional services. This ability to manage a project and manage the cost, the expense and the income side, and then to calculate and understand what is the work in progress and be able to reflect that in terms of the balance sheet and the P&L. It also gives you operational capability as well in terms of managing maybe assembly lines, managing manufacturing lines, and also being able to manage resources as well. It also provides capabilities such as sales and service management. So this is really around purchase order processing and sales order processing, and the ability to manage things like service managed contracts, such as an RMA process, which is where you have goods coming back into your product, into your organization, such as maybe faulty products or defective products, and then you need to go for a quality process. You check it in, do the quality process, fix it up, and then send it back out to the client or replace it with a new product, depending on the scenarios. And obviously the supply chain management is obviously crucial. Again, depending on your organization, this may be more or less used in terms of being able to manage the supply chain of your suppliers, managing the onboarding of your suppliers, managing the payment, maybe looking in terms of a payment gateway. And then underpinning all of that, we've got the reporting and analytics. So this is giving you a full set of capabilities within the platform to support not just how you manage the system in terms of your processes and how your organization works, but more importantly, it's giving you really intelligence and insights to enable you to make the right decisions at the right time, at the right place, to support a business which is going through that fast pace of change. And this gives you that stability and also the confidence to be able to move forward at a pace as well. And obviously, we've got the Power Platform at the bottom. This is really crucial to all the different things that we talk about when we talk about Dynamics 365 and any of the modules that you're using or working with. The Power Platform allows you to have extensibility options into different lines of businesses where you're operating, ranging from maybe a timesheet or expenses app where you're capturing information about receipts. It could be to do with if you're a company which has vehicles where you might need an app which is a vehicle checker to check whether or not the vehicle's roadworthy before you take that check in place. Lots of examples in terms of organizations where they have paper forms or checklists. These can be now replaced by the Power Platform to provide better intelligence, more centralized, reduce paperwork, and obviously streamline and improve their processes as well. So for instance, going back to an example of a van checker. So rather than somebody at the end on a Friday just filling out 5 forms, one for each of the days, the Power App is able to check the location of the person and they're doing it to make sure that they're doing it before the journey, after the journey, and they're all in a close proximity to the van at that moment in time. So it gives you all of those standard capabilities within the standard app, which then enables you to have better processes and also better safety record. So what is Business Central? Business Central is a finance application at its core heart. So what you would expect in terms of any cash management program, and these are probably familiar with the likes of Sage 50, QuickBooks, these sort of things, Xero to a certain extent. These provide real capabilities in terms of cash management, so accounts payable, accounts receivable. So Business Central ticks all of those boxes you would expect from a finance product, but it is actually also an ERP solution. So when it comes to warehousing, managing one or multiple warehouses, managing stock movements, both inbound and outbound, and also checking in terms of stock locations, having rack within your warehousing and managing the different processes, and maybe even going to things like Kanbans in terms of moving stock between different bins to support manufacturing real-time processing. It can support those sort of things. The project accounting we talked about briefly before. So this is the ability to manage jobs. So you may be providing consultancy services. It may be R&D projects you're working internally in terms of building out new projects. This can all be managed as part of the ERP system. And then obviously the manufacturing piece in terms of either through manufacturing or just to go down to assembly level. Again, this can support all types of organizations, from food companies, construction companies, professional services, financial services, or whatever the case may be. The system is adaptable and configurable to work in the same sort of way, but supporting the challenges of each of the different industries. And we'll show you some examples of that moving forward. So one of the key things about what Microsoft are doing in terms of their platform and what they're doing in terms of their level of investment, each of the different areas of Dynamics 365 is not just a product, it's not just a software solution, it's real business intelligence. So within Business Central, it comes with out-of-the-box intelligence around artificial intelligence. A couple of examples of this would be when you're trying to do your cash flow forecasting. A lot of organizations are working within a spreadsheet. Within Business Central, it allows you to do a 12-month cash flow forecast out of the box. But not only is it doing a cash flow forecast, it's also predicting based upon the patterns of your orders, your clients, that how frequently they pay, the ones that don't pay. It will then predict over 12 months exactly what your cash flow will be based upon actual data and then estimated data as well. And then as you use the system more and more over time, you'll start to learn more and more about your customers and your suppliers and your costs within your business. And then the system will then get more and more accurate the more you use it over that 12-month period onwards and up and so on. Another good example of AI within the product is around stock flow management. So stock management is obviously a key challenge for a lot of organizations. Holding too much stock is a very costly thing. Holding not enough stock is a very customer limiting thing. So actually to get the right level of stock is really important, and to make sure your stock orders are efficient as possible. This is where Business Central can really offer value add to most organizations. So being able to predict per item what is the forecasted stock levels based upon actual orders, and also being able to predict based upon patterns of historical orders what is going to be like moving forward across the different months, and then being able to quickly and easily generate new purchase orders to replenish stock is a really good capability to support businesses. And then being able to consolidate purchase orders across one or multiple supplier. Those sort of capabilities are all out of the box and standard. Moving on to the next piece, which is RPA. This is an area which is fastly growing and becoming more and more effective and more important to more and more organizations. It can be a slightly scary term in terms of RPA. What is it? It is robot process automation. And to put it in a very simple terms, it's giving you the ability to integrate systems which don't have natural integrating capabilities. So if you imagine you've got 2 or 3 legacy systems which you've been using, and you're then moving on to, say, a new finance system or new CRM system, and there isn't any SDKs available which are very easily to transfer the data between the 2 systems. Imagine a scenario, you've got to set up a customer or supplier in system A, and you've got to do the same thing as system B. At the moment, they're 2 separate systems, there's no integration, they're 2 separate processes. What RPA allows you to do is basically automate what the actions of a human would be doing in terms of manually administering both systems, and then creating that as an automated process, then using unattended technology to replay that process. So then essentially you can then tie 2 systems together without any complexity in terms of integrations, web services or SDKs, which if you think about it is an incredible thing, because you can have quite a few legacy systems which you know is too costly or too expensive to spend the time and money to integrate. But actually within a couple of hours, you can integrate the 2 systems using RPA by using essentially macros, which is capturing screen recordings, mouse recordings, and user input to allow you to manually move the data between the 2 systems in a fully automated process. And there is hundreds and thousands of scenarios across many businesses where you have siloed data, which actually RPA can very quickly benefit you in lots of different ways. Then finally, the reporting, which is a really important element in terms of being able to provide intelligence. So one of the key things about collecting data and having a good system is insights and data, and being able to expand the information which is from a business central to be able to provide that data through a tool like Power BI, which is out-of-the-box integration, is a fantastic thing. One of the key things that we do for clients as they evolve for the maturity of their usage of these platforms is to starting building capability around what if scenarios. So actually, what if we opened a new office? What would that look like in terms of our cash flow, our salary costs, and also our bottom line? Actually, if we were to hire 10 new members of staff, what would that look like? If we were to sell 5 new product lines, what would that look like in terms of our warehouse capacity? If we were to do some R&D on 12 new product lines, what would that look like in terms of our resource? So those what if scenario plannings are really important for organizations as they try to understand what is the right step to take and to be able to grow in a supportable manner in terms of potentially looking for new markets, new opportunities, or new products or services they're looking to provide. In terms of Business Central sort of key benefits, I guess that the number one for a lot of companies is the future-proofing. The Business Central is highly invested within Microsoft. In terms of new seats, it's their number one product in their product portfolio in terms of net new wins as well. So it's massively on the Microsoft radar in terms of importance. It is cloud first, as you expect with all the Microsoft Dynamics 365 products. So within the standard license price, all of the sort of capabilities around disaster recovery, GDPR compliance, automating backups, automatic recovery, all that good stuff just comes as standard. So again, if you're considering a cloud system versus an on-premise system, and you're thinking about SQL cost, window cows, SQL cows, CPU cows, all these extra things you've got to think about, all of that is taken out of the equation because you're just buying one license price per user per month for a cloud system, and everything else is taken accounted for. So in terms of investment, so there's loads of apps being added all the time into this platform, which then supports different verticals, different scenarios, and different solutions for different types of organizations, and it's a very global reach in terms of these app sources. Microsoft are investing billions of dollars in the platform, but also investing billions of dollars also in terms of the intelligence around this platform as well. So a really good example, couple of good examples actually, when it comes to the investment in intelligence, is one of them is a fraud analytics, so the ability to analyze financial transactions and identify transactions from a list where there's abnormality within that transaction, to be able to highlight it to a person to then to do some investigations to either to say, yes, this is good or this is bad, and then being able to teach the system whether or not actually that's an acceptable exception or no, that was actually something that we weren't expecting. Ability to have things like churn analytics, which is the ability to analyze customer patterns, customer orders, customer frequency, customer spend, customer payments, all these different elements, and being able to take that information and then analyze which clients are most likely to stay with you and which clients are potentially likely to leave, which is obviously an important thing, especially depending on how many clients you have. The more clients spend with you in terms of the fewer customers you have, the more these sort of factors are more and more important. So Business Central is a tool which supports different types of users within your organization to use this tool. So from the business owner, there is a role available of Business Central, which gives you the information required as a business owner to then to deliver the key features and functions required, what you would expect as a typical business owner. As an accountant, maybe an internal or an external accountant, there is an external accountant portal which is available. And there's also a role for internal accountants where they would do all the standard things that an accountant would be expected to do, such as trial balances, etc. There's then a bookkeeper's role where they can do all the accounts payable, accounts receivable, all the standard things they would look to do. There's a project manager's role, warehousing managers, and employees role. And this can be extended as well. So you don't just have these roles. I think there's out of the box, there's about 15 different roles, but we can also, we understand that a lot of organizations have people with multiple hats, so we can support multiple scenarios by combining role centers so that people get exactly the functionality that they require to simplify the interface for them, but then also to provide the capabilities so they don't have to provide support and help. From a business point of view, it does operate across multiple different industries and sectors, so non-for-profit, retail, manufacturers, professional services, charity sector, government, financial services, etc., etc. It's very configurable because they have the ability to provide solutions and add-ons to support any different scenario as well. So those of you who've been involved in ERP implementations before probably recognize on the left-hand side, you've got a traditional deployment, you're choosing the hardware, you're choosing the software, you go for the system configuration, the application configuration, customization of the solution, and then importing the data and testing everything to make sure it's all good. If we compare a typical implementation versus a Business Central one, and if we choose a quite tricky one, which is manufacturing, is one where they use more modules of the system than most. Actually, you can see from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, the project lead time of Business Central is vastly reduced. So just to give you an idea, the first thing it does, it eliminates a whole load of steps in terms of hardware, software, SQL cows, CPU cows, all that stuff, and just removes all of those from the equation so you don't need to worry about it. The next thing it does, it provides automated best practices in terms of being able to do the role centers, which come out of the box. It has the standard configuration, which is all out of the box. You don't have to set the system up, you don't have to do that. It all comes working from day one. Next thing, from the application layer, we can see in the customization layer, there are off-the-shelf solutions which support most industries and most types of organizations. And this obviously reduces the risk factor, reduces the type of implementation, it reduces the cost of the solution and speeds everything up as well. So we've actually done implementations from start to finish within a month, which if you think about ERP systems back in the day, generally ERP projects would start and end and maybe go for sort of 6 to 18 to 24 to 4 or 5 years even. I know there's larger projects, but in terms of the scale, the difference in being able to implement one or multiple solutions or one or more legal entities with Business Central, speed and efficiencies the platform offers you with all the scale, the security, and the different roles, etc. It really is a game changer in terms of being able to use this platform and get started very quickly with minimal costs. So this is an example of what Business Central offers. So we talked about the platform, we talked about Microsoft Dynamics 365, we talked about that ecosystem of how it shares data across all the different products within it, how it has that out-of-the-box integration to like of CRM. But actually, what Microsoft are doing as part of this ongoing strategy is they're not just providing integration capabilities with Dynamics 365, but providing integration capabilities across all of their products. So this is an example, a simple example. We received an invoice from somebody looking to place an order with us, and then directly from Outlook, we're able to click on the Business Central, so Conduct Insights, you can see at the top. And then so from here, it then automatically recognizes the email address. It then automatically pulls up details about that particular, in this case, supplier. And it allows me to see the supplier's information, such as what their outstanding balance is, outstanding credit, what orders they've placed, and so on and so on. So what we're going to do is, this is an order we've received. So what we need to do is we want to log this into Business Central and create a purchase invoice based upon this information. But the first thing we do is we don't have to leave Outlook. Just from within Outlook itself, we can click on the new, and then we can choose from the drop down either purchase order or purchase invoice. So this gives us the ability to choose what we want to do. Again, depending on your business process, this could be a purchase order or purchase invoice, which then purchase order could be promoted into a purchase invoice at a later stage upon an approval process. We're just going to go for a purchase invoice in this scenario. One of the nice things about it is it's now using a bit of AI technology. So we've got a PDF document, we've got some content within our document, we're OCRing it, we're taking the suggestions from it, we're then looking at the data, we're analyzing that data, and now we're able to make some automatic suggestions in terms of line items for this purchase invoice. So it's actually reading the contents of the email and then it's making suggestions, which I then, as a user, I get to either approve or reject. You can see we have the ability to, this is now a purchase invoice directly within BC, but still within Outlook. We then have the ability to view the information, we can make changes to it. And then we also have the ability to then do something with it. So what we want to do now is, depending on what we want to do, we have the ability to either send it for an approval process, if we need to get maybe the department head to do this, to approve this purchase invoice before it gets paid. Maybe there's a sign-off required if it's services. Or if we're happy, we're able to do directly from Business Central, we're able to post it directly into the system. So you can see on the right-hand side of the drop-down list, we've got post, which is obviously saving as a document into financial system to say we've now accepted it. We could release it, which is putting it to a read-only state. If we did that, we were able to reopen it as well. We have that capability. And then you also have the ability to set dimensions, which is flags, which is recording information for better reporting analysis based upon procurement analysis or payment analysis. I'm going to go ahead and do posting at this point. So it gives me a warning, says, are you sure you want to do this? I'm going to choose yes. And now we've done it. So we've now just posted the information into Business Central from Outlook, and we haven't had to come out to the Outlook interface. So from a productivity point of view, from a user adoption point of view, so people understanding and being able to work efficiently within the tools that they know best, which in this scenario is Outlook, it's a massive differentiator between this and other products, being able to do all of those operations all within Outlook without having to move away from the product. So if we have a look at Business Central in a live manner, just talk to you about the look and feel of it. If I just refresh the interface, may or may not be aware, Microsoft have just launched a new feature called sleeping tabs. So if you don't refresh, then it then cuts off the connection to the internet. to save your internet usage. So essentially, this is the role center I'm logging into. So we have the ability to see information about what we're doing. So we've got information about, from a finance point of view, we've got all the standard stuff, cash management, so cash forecast and payment journals, all that good stuff, set up bank accounts. So it does provide integration into bank accounts if that's a requirement. You also have the ability to do direct debit collections and also bank reconciliations as well. From a sales point of view, it provides you information about your customers, your products, sales orders, sales quotes, sales invoices, and all the standard stuff you'd expect in a finance system. And again, from a purchasing point of view, your vendors, your suppliers, and obviously item changes, purchase orders, purchase invoices, and posted purchase invoices. So it gives you the ability to quickly access all this information. When you're on your home page, this role center, you can see the information related to you as a user. So as you can see in this window, I am a business owner, so I get to see a snapshot over the sales months and activities. If I go to this window, this is a payroll view of the system. So this one shows me all the information about my payroll, number of employees, days to payroll, and so on and so on. So you can see the same system with a different role shows you a completely different interface depending on what your role within the organization is. It also provides you quick actions as well, such as sales order, purchase order. So again, these actions are linked to the person's role center, which then gives you the ability to do things as you'd expect. If we scroll down, we can obviously see these live tiles, which are constantly updating, where we can see ongoing purchases, payments, outstanding sales orders, and so on and so on. Incoming documents, this is the ability to integrate Business Central with things like mailboxes as well. So this could be, as an example, we received an email from a supplier with a purchase invoice attached. Then we could take that document associated to that email, which is an attachment, we can scan the contents of it, process it as a document, and then automatically enter it into the system without any human input. And we can do the same thing for sales orders, and we can also do the same thing for things like credit notes and those other things. If we have any outstanding approvals, such as maybe payroll, or maybe it's a purchase order before it gets posted, then we have an ability to manage an approval workflows. As you can see here, there's also capabilities around timesheets, submitting timesheets, and this could be both from employees, or this could be from staff or contractors as well. We're moving on further down the line, you have the standard reports such as business intelligence. So there's a whole series of charts available where you can go through and see different reporting characteristics. And obviously you can configure these yourselves to show different types of information depending on what your requirement is. You can also favorite charts and favorite reports, and obviously things like trial balances are all standard as you'd expect with any sort of major system. So if we sort of focus a bit more in terms of the look and feel, one of the nice features that I like about Business Central is the integrated search capability. So you're probably familiar with this if you're using Office 365, because this is the same search as Office 365. Not only is it the same search as Office 365, but this is also the same search as Windows as well. So what this is Microsoft Search. What Microsoft Search enables you to do is to be able to provide information to the users using context and also intelligence. So for instance, if I wanted to see my customers, I could then type in customers. And what it does, it now gives me quick navigation links to different parts of the product, such as how to create a new customer, how to see a sales quote linked to a customer, how to register customer payments, or if I just wanted to see a list of customers, I can click on this, or I can see a series of reports related to the customer. So by just doing a search, it's automatically pulling data for me across one or multiple areas, and you'll see this more and more as you move forward. This concept is called Microsoft Search, and you'll see this within Edge, you'll see this within Bing, and you'll see this within Office 365 and Word. The search capability across all these products It's giving you real-time intelligence, and also it gives you the ability to control the data flow as well, which is a really cool thing. So for instance, I can share data from Business Central into Microsoft Teams, and then it will know the context of that data, and then it will actually embed data directly within Microsoft Teams with records or supply records or credit records, as long as I have the right security to access it. So we can see here from a list of customers, you can have images, which could be people, or it could be customer logos, it's up to you. And then you have the ability to then to go in and search on the customers, or go into an actual customer record. So when we look at the customer record, we can see information about the customers, the balance which is due, and then we can see, if I scroll down where they are from a location point of view, we can see invoicing information such as billing points and posting groups. We can also see payment milestones or payment terms, conditions, shipping information, and we can also see some nice statistics about this particular client, about how much money is owed and so on and so on. And all of these information are live, and these are constantly updated. The nice thing about these things is not only giving you information about the particular client, but it's also clickable as well. So if I wanted to see the payments that were due this year, I can simply click on the hyperlink, and then the system will then load up and show me a list of all the payments associated with this particular customer. We can now see on the left-hand side, actually, what this is doing is giving me a detailed customer ledger entries, and it's filtered based upon a specific customer. So if I wanted to go ahead and make a change and say, actually, I don't want to see that customer, I want to see a different customer, then it's as simple as just changing the filter on the left and then showing the data on the right-hand side. It's really simple, it's really flexible. We also have the ability to say, actually, I don't want to filter based on customer, I want to see all of the customer ledger entries for a period, then we can do that also. We also have the ability to save views as well. So if there's a particular view that we wanted to pull back on a frequent basis, rather than setting up the right combination of filters, which is fairly straightforward, we can also save it as a view that we can use it as an after fact as well. You may, obviously, a lot of finance people are very familiar with the likes of Excel and those sort of tools. Although we try and encourage people to use Business Central as much as possible, we're not naive enough to understand that people still like working in Excel. What Microsoft has done very well is taken the capabilities of Excel and embedded them directly within Business Central. So if we wanted to open this data in Excel, we can click on Open Data, and it will take all of this data and show me. Or if I wanted to create an actual live link to this data, where I could actually edit the data through an Excel spreadsheet, I can do that as well. So by simply clicking Edit, it then gives me the ability to open this data in Excel. I can then manipulate the data in Excel, and once I finish, I can save it, and then it updates the system based upon my permissions and obviously the conditions regarding financial requirements such as posted entries. So it's a really nice capability. This capability around Excel is actually available across all areas of the system. So it's not just that one area. Any area in the system, so if we go back to our customer card, I also have the ability, if I wanted to manipulate and edit customer data, I can do that as well by opening Excel or editing in Excel. So this works across all areas of the product based upon suppliers, vendors, customers, and so on and so on. In terms of the interface, you probably notice there's lots of different options and lots of different menu items. This is again because I am a power user. But again, from a simplicity point of view, we can look to make any of these areas specific or hidden depending on the users as well. So if I went into my sales and wanted to look at my posted sales invoices, I then have the ability to see all the information. One of the nice features I like within any particular area, you also have the ability to do what's called personalize. So from a personalization point of view, I have the ability to customize any part of the system, and it's as simple as clicking add a field. So within this group, I can now choose, actually what I really want to see is the order number. So I have the ability to drag and drop order number, and then as you can see, there it is, it's done. So I click on done. I've now personalized my interface. I've now shown the information that's important to me, so I don't have to do any additional work. And this works, personalization works across all areas of the system. You also have the ability to do that. From a user point of view, another nice feature is the bookmark capability. So if I was particularly working on posted sales invoices for my particular role, I have the ability to add a bookmark. The bookmark allows you to make a favorite out of certain areas of the system, so that when you go into the main interface, you can now see a series of bookmarks. So these are quick action links taking you into different areas of the system with pre-made filters to support faster working processes. So this is essentially the item. So again, we looked at the customers, the vendors works in exactly the same way. From a stock level as well, we have the ability to view stock items. We can also see different types of stock items. And again, if I show you the different ways of viewing the information, you can also have product and product images as well. So here we can see actually they have this particular example, they have different products which are very similar. So we can actually have, rather than just to name the product, because obviously what does a gluten-free fish finger, how does it look different than a non-gluten-free? We can actually see what it looks like as well, in terms of being able to identify from maybe a quality point of view, maybe picking a packing point of view, and then also an assembly point of view. So if we move now on to the payroll solution, so fully integrated into Business Central is a payroll module that we've built out, which is fully HMRC compliant, which enables you to go through a standard payroll process, which if I go to the example very quickly. I'm going to go for the basic process. So first of all, I add the employees. And again, if there is employees already available, it will allow me to reset them. I can now pull employees by different departments or different customer or different filters into my interface. You can see all the different payroll attributes and elements within the system. I can then get pay elements, which is pulling in timesheet data against each of those employees about what days they've worked, what overtime they've done. So we can now see the overtimes being populated automatically. I can now process those payments. So it's now calculated all my national insurance contributions. I then calculate and release the document, which is now then calculating all my tax liabilities. As you can see, it's all built out for me. I then post and send. It will then send that information to HMRC and send each of the employees a pay slip attached via an email. So you can see it's a very simple process where you can manage your payroll and very effectively, very quickly across multiple different time zones, which supports monthly, weekly, or bi-weekly billing across contractors or full-time employees. I'm just going to go back to my PowerPoint slide now. So this is an example in terms of reporting. So there is built-in reporting within the standard system, which shows you capabilities in terms of Excel reporting. It's got the same built-in reports, and it's also got Power BI reporting. So this will give you the ability to do things like income statements, balance sheets. And what we've done here is we've given the capability is not just reporting on an individual legal entity, and this also provides consolidated reporting across a group of organizations as well. So this is showing you essentially being able to filter based upon different legal entities or across all of them. And also you can then provide things like intercompany transactions, you can do variable exchange rates, and also goodwill journal entries as well in terms of percentage ownership. So this is really a consolidation element as well, and being able to report at a summary level, but also being able to drill down to a document level to any specific part of your legal structure. You can even go down to a specific entry. In terms of add-ons and solutions, so one of the great things about Business Central is the capability to extend the solution. So we talked about the advanced insights. So the forecasting of stock, the forecasting of cash flow, key events such as highlighting insights such as cash flow, best-selling product lines, customers which are giving you the most orders, or orders are the biggest orders, those sort of things. Trend analysis in terms of actually cash flow forecasting, in terms of which stock is going to be affected which month based upon which orders. And then obviously in terms of exceptions, if people don't follow the right standards, the system doesn't let you make mistakes, but it gives you warnings and alerts every step of the way. In terms of intelligence, we talked about stock management, cash flow, cash collection. So cash collection, this is really about, it uses AI to understand and analyze the particular order against a particular customer based upon the value, based upon the goods received or sent, and it will then make payment predictions of how likely each customer is to pay each of those invoices within the standard payment terms. So from a credit collection point of view, this is really useful information. It helps you identify and focus on the ones where you're going to have potentially the most issues without having to have that deep understanding and knowledge in terms of the rich history of the customer base. The system allows you to do that. And then churn analytics will tell you which ones are changing their behaviors and changing their patterns, which could potentially lead into you losing a customer. In terms of some add-on solutions, so there's kind of two sort of categories of this. You've got horizontal solutions and you've got vertical solutions. So things like timesheet management, purchase order approval, debt collection, payroll we talked about. We showed you, gave you a quick demo of that. Maybe vertical solutions around scanners, around warehousing, restricted funds in terms of charities, R&D for companies who do their own internal R&D. We also are able to integrate into R&D companies as well, which is a nice feature. So companies who do R&D in terms of building out products or building platforms, you may or not be aware that you're able to use R&D tax credits, which enable you to pay for that R&D. And obviously, we have a platform which links into some R&D companies, which enables you to capture the data in such a way that makes those R&D claims really seamless and really easy. Donation management and also things like advertising, so advertising companies, and lots more, so construction industry, financial service industries, there's a whole load of verticals available. There's a couple of examples of the stuff that we've done for clients. One of them, this is a standard app, which is Apple or Android, so a native app, and enables you to do timesheet management with things like swipe left to cancel, swipe right to confirm, and then long press to add things like expenses, flag a risk or issues, or update the time associated with the tasks. It's another example we've done. So this one is to do with purchase order approvals. So an email with an attachment comes in, it automatically scans the attachment, it takes the document, saves it into SharePoint, creates an alert to somebody based upon the department, sends them the information. They can then view the original purchase order, they can view the original PDF document as an attachment, they can add a comment such as their feedback, or they can send it to review to another person, another department. If they want to review it themselves, they can then go through, depending on their approval level, can then review each individual line item. And then obviously depending on their level of approval and the level of the order, it then has a sequence, a SOC sequence in terms of having a chain of approval where person A submits to 5,000 or below, next person does from 5 to 10,000, and then it goes through that chain of approval. Another example we've done is a credit collection. So again, you've seen the interface of Business Central is nice and easy to use, but what we've done is we've taken information about credit collection, so building up a timeline of events such as auto chasing, when it was posted, when it was sent out to the client, when they did checking for part payments, and then being able to see all that visibility, so you can then make the best judgment call at the right time to be able to chase people to give you the most effective without affecting your customer relationship by over chasing the wrong people at the wrong time. And actually, one of the nice things this does, this integrates data from the finance and also from the CRM side to pull it into one single interface. So you've got all the information about all the touch points, so you know on what level you should be talking to people as well. As part of this solution, actually, it has automatic payment collection chasing, and so where it says emails via templates as well. The final one we talked about very briefly, we talked about the payroll solution. So this is the module which allows you to do your payroll, and it supports multiple different scenarios as HMRC. It's very cost effective, as you can see, and it also gives you the ability to handle flexible working contractors and obviously multiple legal entities. And through the consolidation piece, it also allows you to do multiple employees and multiple posts across multiple companies as well. So it supports all levels of scenarios, from some simple right the way to some very large complex scenarios as well. Cool. So that's everything that we talked about today in terms of our session. So in terms of any questions, if you have anything, we can obviously answer those. So there is a question area. In terms of some typical questions that we face quite often. So how long does it take to set up? We did say we could do it within a month, but the reality is talking to customers, the backwards and forwards availability, having your people give us access to the system, doing the transformation of the data. Generally, 1 to 3 months is a good lead time. Obviously, it does support multi-currency, supports multiple different currencies. You can have within the same system or within multiple legal entities. You can support as many currencies as you want with different scenarios. It does support multiple companies as well. So we talked about one legal entity, but you can also have up to 900 legal entities all within the same base price, which is essentially £52 a month. It's really cheap in terms of being able to build and expand the system across multiple different entities as well. In terms of the system updates, the system automatically updates itself as you use the system, and it is a live updating. You do have some control, but essentially it does the updates and the way we do our configuration is in a way which is always supportable. It's always via the roadmap, so you don't have any challenges when it comes to updating the system. And of course, it's fully compliant in terms of HMRC, making tax digital. That whole add-on is all out of the box. There's also some solutions around linking it into banks, around the bank reconciliation piece, which is obviously from a month-end process and all that good stuff. So that's all the sort of the standard questions. We'll have a look at see if there's any other questions, and if we are, we can answer those as well. Still got one question coming. So do you need to have Office 365 installed to maximize the benefits of Business Central? So no, the add-on into Office 365 is just an extra nice thing to have. If you don't have Office 365, you can use Business Central. Working away, and we can also integrate into mailboxes and non-Office 365 mailboxes like Exchange, where we can still pull the emails in, process those emails for attachments, and then do automatic processing of purchase orders, sales orders, credit notes, etc., etc. Hopefully that answers your question. Cool, thank you. Okay, we'll just wait a few more minutes to see if there's any other questions. If not, then we've obviously done a good job of explaining, which is great. And then we can end the session. Cool. In that case, I thank you very much for your time this evening. Thank you very much for your patience, and hopefully it's been an informative session for you. And if you have any questions or you need a follow-up session, then please feel free to reach out at any point, and we're happy to do a private one-on-one session or go through any specific business scenarios to help support whatever challenges or projects you've got moving forward as well. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.